Well, is putting stuff out there on the web potentially embarrassing? Very good question. When I thought about much earlier on when I began to start these programs and recordings and so on, would I actually feel okay about what I was saying and what I was putting out there, and would I get embarrassed if I was actually doing it in a video? Well, in fact, the reality is that over time you get used to it, and I've found that as I've been doing more and more, what you might call the embarrassment factor seems to have got less and less of an issue, really. And I pretty much feel now I can say almost anything I want to say, and probably once I've said it, it'll be out there if necessary. So yeah, in terms of my own situation and my own feelings about any so-called qualms or embarrassment about what I'm doing, that's really not an issue, and I'm quite comfortable with how things are going. So probably that's just been experience and time. Perhaps feeling a little bit more comfortable about the presentation skills that I've got now. Still not great, but I think they're definitely improved, and feeling that people won't be too embarrassed looking at me what I'm doing this presentation, for example. So yeah, I think that's definitely anyone who's doing these sorts of exercises, videos and material, yep, initially you might find it a bit tough to get out there, and you might wonder, oh, is what I've said what I want to actually put on the web or even on a program that's on a hard disk? But over time you get used to it, and you'll find that in fact it won't be an issue, and more you can sort of let yourself go and not worry about what you're actually saying. Well, I wouldn't say not worry about it, but not be so concerned about what people might think about it, because after all it is your thing that you're doing. Probably a little different when I'm talking about other people. Not so much it's an embarrassment factor, but I do feel that I would be a little bit careful about what I say when I'm talking about somebody else in terms of either a direct comment about them or a comment in relation to me, and that probably is a little issue still that I've got to work through. Not embarrassed in terms of my own thoughts around the person or the situation, but more a case of, well, if this person saw this video or heard this little bit of a conversation or was reading this, what would they think about it? Would they be embarrassed? Would they find that difficult? Of course, over the fullness of time, tens and hundreds of years, if this lasts that long, that probably won't be an issue. But if someone was to read what I've said in the here and now, in maybe a few years' time, and they might say, well, that's pretty embarrassing. I don't think I would like someone to say that about me or whatever. And I guess that would be a potential problem. So hopefully I haven't done that. I've been fairly careful. And if people do feel that I've been a little over the top in terms of my comments around them or anything, then please bear with it and accept that I'm doing my best here to try and get stuff out. And if I get a little bit over the top in terms of my comment, well, just probably bear with it, please, and accept it. And at the end of the day, it's only my ideas, and they're only my ideas or my perceptions and what I've taken from something. It doesn't really necessarily mean anything that's real in terms of you or any other person. So hopefully that answers that question. Embarrassment goes away with time, and just be a little bit careful what you say about other people in your comments, and just hope that people, if they do feel it's a little over the top, will actually accept that in terms of what I'm trying to do, what you're trying to do, and that will actually result in that being a bit easier as well. Of course, if everyone's out there doing this sort of stuff, then even less of an issue, because people will then be doing it around each other, and that becomes even less of an issue, because everyone will accept a bit more that everyone can make a little glitch, I suppose, in terms of what they say, and that'll just be part of what happens in terms of making comment about the range of peoples and talking about their lives. Already, I suppose you get that sort of thing coming up on places like Facebook, where people make a comment which is probably a little over the top about somebody else, and mostly I don't see major problems with that. People either retaliate or they make a comment and retort. So probably, again, as social networks become more and more entrenched in our day-to-day life, that may become less of an issue as well. So hopefully a bit of an answer there. And just the same thing as I've said in many other places, if you want to do this stuff, get on with it, do it, and it'll become easier and definitely less embarrassing, or you'll wonder less about what you're doing the more you do it. Just doing it is the important thing to do.